lounge today. City lights flashing, can't stop the glow. Feet on the pavement.
All right, what's going on, jobbers? It is your boy BQ by Elegance. Of course, this is the Negative BQ YouTube channel. This is the lounge. We're talking an episode of TNA Impact from January 1st, 2025. I'm recording this on Tuesday night. I would have loved to do it this morning, but I was out of town over the weekend. Wifey and I went to, we got blown out. We got our butts kicked. So not the funnest experience, but we had killer seats. My daughter got us a 17th row for Christmas. And Tua Dome is just an incredible place to watch basketball. So it was a cool experience from that standpoint. But let me tell you, for you guys who watch basketball, the worst fan base, and I don't mean worst fan base, they're a good fan base, but the worst fan base that you can have in the arena as the away fans when you are getting your butts kicked at home are the Boston Celtics fans. Man, but yeah, always a good time going to see the Clips. 6 games in a row won. We went to the one game that they lost, and then they started another win streak. So yeah, the one loss we happen to catch, but all good every time I get to see the Clips. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. And actually, you know what? Yes, ado. Is that the right way to say? Anyway, the debut on AMC. I've been invited by some guys at Hami and Media Group to do a live watch along of the debut episode on AMC. I will let you guys know via social media or whatever if that is a thing. I told them, I don't really watch this show as it airs, number one. Number two, it airs at a completely different time on the West Coast. But then again, I guess if I watch on TNA Plus, because is it live on TNA Plus? I don't even freaking know. You guys know I watched the show like a week later, so I got to do a little research. But as the worst podcaster in TNA history, I have no clue if the show is actually live on TNA Plus. I think it is. We'll see. I will keep you guys in a loop on social media if that is a thing. If I do a live watch along, I have a hard time envisioning myself doing that, but we'll see. If not, then I'll be reviewing the episode a week and a half later like I always do. So anyway, let's get into this episode of Impact one time for your mind.
TNA Impact. Oh.
Just want to hit you another Tom Hannafin.
Oh.
Anyway, this episode here, before I start getting to reviewing it, what are the overall thoughts on it? I want to give them some props for I didn't feel like they forced the whole roster onto the show, like with the knockouts, obviously, but there were some key guys that they normally have on the show every week who are kind of missing, and Mike Santana was almost in that category, but he appeared at the very end because they're not going to go off the air with a heel world champion. I've been telling you guys that since I started podcasting. They are never going to do it. Ever, 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 especially if it's a guy they don't see as a top guy. But they absolutely will not. They will go off the air with the baby face. It's like it just does not fail. And that's what they did again. And they got Mike Santana on the show. But I was watching it. I didn't get that vibe that they were like forcing the whole roster onto the show, which is a good thing. Another good thing is that your ring announcer is Mackenzie Mitchell.
Ding bong, ding dong, he's Stone Cold Aye.
And this kicked off with Knockout's tag team action, Queen of the Rubber match. Xia Brookside and her tag team partner,
From Chingchong, China.
the TNA Knockouts World Champion, Laying Lee. Their opponents, accompanied by the personnel concierge.
That's my dad. But don't worry, he's cool.
Really? He doesn't look cool.
Is the Elegance brand, Heather by Elegance.
Has an erection.
Yeah. It's all her fault.
And M by Elegance.
I keep dreaming and envisioning these long legs.
And it's thinking of Susan Anton or what? What's the deal with that?
So again, you guys know how I feel about the Elegance brand, this especially this version of it. You guys know I like Zaya Brookside. You know the jury is still out on Laying Lee a little bit. I thought she looked pretty good in this match, but I really enjoyed the match. Um, I just feel like M by Elegance every time is just like getting better and better and better, especially like with her character work. Because if you remember when they first brought her onto the Elegance brand, like she kind of stood out a little bit, like didn't really fit, but she's like as every episode passes, it's like she's so comfortable in her role. You know what I mean? And either even same with Heather too, but they've just become like really, really comfortable in what they do and the gimmick, and it works. And I really enjoy the match. Maybe because it's a bunch of hot bitches rolling around in the ring, but I really enjoyed this one. It was a great opener for me. I already knew that the Elegance brand was going to win because it was maybe week, 2 weeks ago, whatever, where Zaya Brookside and Laying Lee beat the Diamond Collective. So when I'm looking at the card for this show, I'm like, okay, well, Diamond Collective lost, Zaya Brookside and Laying Lee won. That means with this match, Zaya Brookside and Laying Lee have to lose so that the Diamond Collective can win later, and everyone's just fucking winning. And when Genesis rolls around, we're probably gonna have like 4 teams wrestling for the belts, but it's all 50-50 in this piece. No one's hot, no one's on a roll, no one has momentum. You have a pretty good idea who's gonna win every single match. And man, I just miss the days when wrestling was unpredictable, you know? Now, to an extent, when you're watching a TV show, predictability is okay. You know, you want to be unpredictable for the pay-per-views. But I think I most enjoy a match when I honest to God have no clue who's gonna win. Because that's just like what really invests you in it, you know? And I still enjoyed it. I just knew the Elegance brand was gonna win, but just because I like everything they do, you know, I was into it. But I thought it was a pretty good match. After this, Queen of the Second segment, Gia Miller.
I will kill you.
She goes backstage, and we find a very dejected Santino Marella.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
Santino was still all over this show. He's dejected. He's sad. He's on this show and much. He's still making matches. Like they at least could have had some kind of story where someone had to step in and make matches. He should have been drunk. He should have showed up to work. He goes, Jay Miller says, we're in Santino's office. There's like a cooler, an empty cooler in the back. He's just at a table. He's just like in the lunchroom. You know what I mean? They should have had him drunk. They should have they just have a different episode where he's just making matches and saying shit that makes no sense whatsoever, and some kind of like I'm saying that jokingly, but I'm saying it serious at the same time because okay, we didn't get Goofy Santino. He's still called Tom and Dick, whatever his name is, Tom and Jerry, but he still was just on the show as much as he always is, and he was still making matches. Like they have no idea how to make the matches without him. So I would have liked to see that layer to it, to where he's not just sitting there sad, but he's like abusing substances. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that could have possibly made for more entertaining television. But it's whatever. So, God, I was going off the top of my head here. Like, let me go to my notes because I don't remember exactly what he said in this. So I'm just going to ramble here for a few seconds because you know that's how we do. Yeah, the point was that he gave a note to Hannafin because I don't listen to Hannafin and it's on mute for half of the show and I'm the worst podcaster on the planet. I have no idea what the note was. I'm sure it was making some kind of match because that is what he does because he is Santino, your favorite and mine. Next match that we had, accompanied by the Order 4, we had Mustafa Ali.
If you vote for me, all of your wildest dreams will come true.
And his opponent, the hometown man.
I don't know where the fuck you live.
And man, the fucking hometown man. Like again, I'm not like super against the gimmick, but why do I feel like when they debut on AMC that he's going to be one of the main attractions? Like he's going to be one of the main acts. Like they will have a match for him on there. Please do not. Please do not. You have to already be watching TNA to understand what the hometown man is, and we're hoping that we have some new viewers when they do debut on MC. I was gonna say the SATs on AMC. Please do not. So anyway, Ali wrestles the hometown man. Actually, oddly enough, a pretty decent match. Like this gimmick for Cody Deaner works to where he actually is probably having the best matches he's had in TNA. Because when he was, was he cousin Deaner or his cousin Jake? He was just Cody Deaner, whatever. Like that was whatever. Um, he was doing good stuff as a heel, and then he started doing bad stuff as a heel, and then he started the power to the people gimmick, which fucking sucked. Sucked. An AIDS infected dick. Okay. And then I think he knew that. I think TNA knew that. They knew that that did not work, that it was a bad gimmick. Nobody cared. And they found this hometown man thing, and it's working for him. I would not put him on the debut of AMC, or on AMC, I should say, but it works for him, and he's probably actually doing his best work in ring. And he actually has won several matches. I was pretty sure he wasn't going to beat Mustafa Ali here. And they had a pretty good match because Ali has good matches with everybody. And I tell you, I thought Ali's match with Trey Miguel was a match of the year. Like, I know that wasn't even a candidate, and maybe it's recency bias because it happened at the end of the year, but I thought that was the best match. They had the audacity to have the Hardys and the Dudleys on there, which is one of the worst matches of the year by fucking far. But neither here nor there. Ali beats a hometown man cleanish. And after the match, because Ali cannot have any momentum whatsoever, he cannot just go out looking strong. They have a guy in the back, a fat guy dressed like Elijah, walking with his guitar. He sends the great hand jobs to go chase this guy down. And then when he turns around, there is Elijah with the guitar. And I'm thinking to myself, please do not hit Ali. Just have Ali roll out of the ring. And that's what he did. So chicken shit, coward, but at least he wasn't knocked on his ass like they typically like to do with the heels, because they are not allowed to have any momentum whatsoever. After this, what do we have after this? So the Rascals, I had half of this on mute. Okay. I was a little confused, but they went to Santino asking for an X Division title shot. I thought Myron Reed already had a title shot. Like, I thought I already knew about this. Did they already announce this match on social media like a couple weeks ago, like before it took place? That's what I was wondering, because you guys know I kind of avoid spoilers. I do listen to Mike Gilbert's podcast before I watch the show, so I do, in that sense, know what's going to happen on the show already. But I could have sworn I've known about this match for weeks. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, they won an X Division title shot. All four of them are in there. This is why I'm confused, because the match later is only three of them, but all four of them in there hoping to get an X Division title shot. Santino tells them, you guys can fight each other. So we're going to see the Rascals fight each other again, which I feel like we've seen 2 or 3 times in the last 4 months. And that is exactly what we got. So that's how we're going to come up with a number 1 contender, which is unnecessary because there's already 2 number 1 contenders for the X Division Championship. You've already announced the match for Genesis. Why? I understand you want to have a high-profile match for the AMC debut, but you can still do an awesome match without defending the X Division title in a match that we know he is going to win. By that, I mean Leon Slater. We know that he is going to win. So, yeah, they're going to fight. Rascals will fight once again. After this, we had a promo with Ariana Grande.
I'm sorry that people are so jealous of me, but I can't help it that I'm popular.
And she, Mike Gilbert was saying how she sounded like Stephanie McMahon here. She really did, actually. I didn't think he said he was dressed like her, or she was dressed like her. I didn't see that. Maybe that's just an outfit I'm unaware of. but she definitely sounded like her. It's almost like they're kind of recycling that material just a little bit. But anyway, Ariana Grande is there with the NXT jobbers. She is with her man Stinks,
Who?
Tank,
Who?
Tyrese,
Who?
Patrick Dempsey,
Who?
Brooke Hogan,
Who?
Lexus King.
The Indiana Fever select Lexi Hull.
So I thought the promo was fine. This is something different for her. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think even with her NXT gimmick, she was still kind of a heel more than anything, kind of a babyface in TNA. Like, at least that's what I thought, because she always seemed like her best friends, that she would say, "Oh, these are my best friends." I know she called everyone that, but I felt like she was more connected to the heels in that role. I could be wrong. So this is something different for her. This is a completely different layer. Like, now there's no going back. She can't go back to the princess of NXT or whatever the hell she was, the whole pageant queen thing. Like, she can't go back to that now. So this is a new layer for her. So this is actually a very important point in her career. So she cut a promo here. I thought it was fine. It was you're just Santino Marella's daughter everywhere they go. And I get it. I feel like the wrestlers are just Santino Marella's wrestlers on this show. You know what I mean? It is the freaking Santino show. So I might actually be rooting for NXT here in this one. Even though I know that Santino is just going to become the next North American champion. But yeah, no, I thought this was okay. I thought they did a pretty decent job. Here I said these guys all stood there looking like they would rather be anywhere else. But I mean, she cut a very good promo here. And I was glad we'd actually see any of the NXT guys wrestle on this show. So that was pretty refreshing. So after this, we have so again, because I'm on mute, I don't know if she goes by Crystal Poppin or Crystal Poppin. I don't know if she spells it one way, pronounces it or whatever. She's hot, but she sucks. That song that she does for Tessa Blanchard is terrible. It is one of the worst theme songs on the show. I'm just being honest. She looks good. She is not good otherwise. But we had 6 knockouts, tag team action.
You here for the gangbang?
It was Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, I don't like this. That if the Nuggets don't win this shit.
Mila Moore.
Get me out of here!
Victoria Crawford.
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
And they are taking on the team of Jody Threat.
I just felt like running.
Jada Stone.
I got into a different kind of entanglement.
An entanglement?
And future Knockouts champion Indy Hartwell.
How long did it take you to learn English once you got here?
It was really easy because we speak English in Australia, you fucking idiot.
So this match was put together for 2 reasons. Number 1, because they needed to feed some wrestlers to Diamond Collective so that they can get a win. And number 2, it was to fit as many knockouts on the show so that they could pay them.
Here for the gangbang?
So because the Diamond Collective is accompanied by Jobbert Stone, I did not watch. I assume they won. I already told you from the top of the show. They lost the other week to Xia Brookside and Lang Lee, meaning they have to win here, which means also Lang Lee and Xia Brookside had to win the opening match. And I'm sorry, they had to lose the opening match. The Elegance brand had to win the opening match. And it's all this freaking 50-50 booking bullshit carousel that they're doing so that when Genesis rolls around, it can be the Inspiration, defending against the Elegance brand, defending against the Diamond Collective. And I would say they're defending against Xia Brookside and Lang Lee as well. But I think they announced Lang Lee and what's her fuck for Genesis. So I think that title match has already been established. But we're definitely getting a 3-way at Genesis. I don't think they've announced it on social media or anything yet, but you can see all this shit coming from a mile away in TNA. Just doing a little rhyming there. Why not? Because I'm Crystal Poppin'. Okay. After this, they had a little cinematic They're going cinematic here with the Righteous Brothers and the Hardys. Let's give them the sound drop. The Righteous.
The Righteous are reportedly signing with WWE.
And they are... So they have Matt Hardy like trapped backstage. I was in and out of listening to this. Matt was wearing his tag team championship belt. So this was like when they kidnapped him, right? They were showing a video of when they kidnapped him from the steel cage match that no one came and saved him. They even carried him off while Santino was still in gorilla position. They just walked right past him. And then Santino went and they just wrestled the match. Was he wearing his belt on the way to the steel cage? Like, was the belt a part of it? Because he is sitting there as a captor. What is it? A captor? If you were being held captive. But he's wearing his belt. He's wearing his fucking tag team championship belt. Like, we couldn't make this shit any fucking faker. But anyway, after this, they actually do a promo. The Righteous does a promo. I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, I'm so lost in this feud, but it's not a bad thing. Because it's not like wrestler A versus wrestler B and let's go have a wrestling match. They're doing their promo. Out comes the Hardys.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And Matt kept trying to bring the promo home, all right? Because the promo is going like all these different directions. Who knows what the hell they're talking about? And Matt kept bringing it, to like, well, if you want to fight, we can fight. We'll put up the titles. And then they go off to, again, about talking about God knows what. And then Matt just keeps kind of bringing it in like, oh, I don't care about all that. Like, let's have a match. Like, he's trying to do the predictable, you guys versus us. And we put the titles on the line and this and this. And the Righteous are like, well, that's not what we want. I still don't know what it is that they want. But I think they already announced they are wrestling for the titles at Genesis. So, I mean, all this promo makes no sense because they're just wrestling for the belts. It's one thing if they were genuinely like, no, we're not trying to wrestle you, and they just drag the shit out of us, but they're not going to do that. They'll probably win the titles at Genesis. I'm pretty confident in that. My New Year's, one of my predictions for 2025 was that the Hardys would be the champions for the entire year. I said because they have nobody to take the belts off them. Now, they did lose it to the Nemesis for a bit. I think that was more because Jeff couldn't get into Canada, but they did. And then the Hardys got it back, and they were the champions. This is the team that can beat them. This is the team that can take the belts off them. So I think that is going to happen at Genesis, but I also think they're going to feud through the entire year because, again, the Hardys have nobody that can beat them. So I don't see a scenario where they take the belts off the Hardys and the Hardys don't eventually win it back. I don't see them like having a rematch and then beating the Hardys again. That's not going to happen. But I will say I'm intrigued. Even though I don't understand it, I'm intrigued because it's not the regular wrestler A versus wrestler B, team A versus team B. Like, at least they're trying to do something a little bit different with it. I would like to see the story drag out a little bit more before they have the match, but it's TNA. They're not going to drag it out that long. They're going to give us the match. So after the promo, which again I thought was entertaining, I just didn't really understand it, but it was entertaining enough. Then after this, we get the three-way match with the Rascals.
In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
It is Trey Miguel. It is Zachary Wentz. It is Myron Reed.
I am your father.
And guys, I know I talk about this a lot with these type of matches, especially with these guys, with this group. But if you have not watched the episode, I'm sure you have because it's like 2 weeks after. But if you haven't seen it, or even if you want to go back and watch it, okay? From the very beginning of this match, there is no regular just ring psychology. It is a dance routine from the very beginning to the very end. I know a lot of you guys like that stuff. This is just not wrestling to me. Like, it's entertaining. It is fun. I'm not saying it's excuse me, I'm not saying it's complete shit. It's entertaining. It's fun. They're athletic. They can do amazing things. I acknowledge that these guys are very, very entertaining. I acknowledge that they're a very big part of TNA. I've told you I think Myron Reed is good as shit. Like when you put him in a ring like one-on-one with someone who can like really go and someone who can really work, like he's the best out of all of them in my opinion. But man, this is just really not wrestling to me. It's like when you're watching a basketball game. This is great example, the NBA All-Star game. There's no defense being played. It's just two teams going back and forth, shooting three-pointers, shooting from as far as they can. It's all offense. No one's playing any kind of defense. The guys on defense are only considered with maybe trying to get the rebound so that they can go back to the other side and shoot. They only care about their offense. Like that's what this is. This is just two teams going back and forth shooting three-pointers. No one playing offense. They're just worried about what they are going to do next. You know? And it's like I know I always go on these like rants about this kind of stuff, but it's so difficult to watch. Like, do you know somebody that my daughter's like this, so I know trust me. I've been there, so I know what I'm talking about here. Have you been around someone who's incapable of conversation? Like they only have one-way conversation, like they just speak at you and they're not being active listeners and they're not listening to anything you're saying. It's just about what they want to do. Like that is, I know it's like a really, really weird analogy, but that is like the equivalent of this. Like this is not, these wrestlers are not having a conversation. They're just all three having a one-way conversation, not listening to the other person, just worried about what they want to do, what they want to say. You know, it's not a competition. Of course, there's a little bit of story. One of them wants to win because they want to be the X Division champion or wrestle for the belt. But it is like they're not telling any kind of story in the ring. They're just doing moves. That's all this match, the entire match was just them doing moves, knowing what the next move was, knowing what next spot was. So man, I know a lot of you guys like this. Like, I always laugh because I'll listen to Mike's podcast sometimes and be like, oh, this was the match of the night. And I'm in my head laughing because I'm like, that is my least favorite match on the whole fucking card. You know, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not like dissing him and I'm not dissing anybody who likes that kind of thing. I know there was a group that just thinks that is so entertaining, you know, but that is just not wrestling to me. It's something, you know what I mean? It almost like needs its own genre, but Myron Reed eventually wins this thing. So thank God, because he is the one that I'm cool with watching wrestling Leon Slater, because they had a match once before and it was excellent. Like when Myron Reed is wrestling someone who can work, yeah, Leon Slater's flippy dippy, but he can work too. You know, it's going to be a really excellent match. So Mike actually called that one. He said that I would do Myron Reed versus Leon Slater on the AMC debut. And I'm thinking to myself, well, they're not going to do that again, but they are. So cool. I don't expect Myron Reed to win the match. That wouldn't make any sense because Leon Slater already has opponents at Genesis. They've already announced the match. He has 2 opponents. So why do we have so many number 1 contenders? So we have 3 number 1 contenders. Isn't number 1 contender just supposed to be number 1? Like one singular person? Everyone gets to wrestle with the X Division Championship. I would not be surprised if they didn't find a way to put Myron Reed in that match at Genesis. I'm just expecting more multi-person matches to be announced for the show. Here for the gangbang, right? After this, my friends, Gia Miller is once again backstage. So after this match, because I did have the volume up at that point, Hannah Finn's like, I wonder what the Hardys think about it. How did he know the Hardys were going to pop up right then and there? Gia didn't even know. Gia was like, they just cut to a door, and then the door opened, and the Hardys walked through. How did Hannah Finn know that? Number 1. Number 2, Gia Miller just happens to be standing there. She asked them one question. The interview is over like 5 seconds later. The camera's still on them. Remember, usually with these interviews, you just leave the camera on Gia Miller looking like a goof. But this is the one time that they pan away from Gia Miller They watch the Hardys from behind go into this room, and there is a shrine there. So the shrine, that's cool to me. Like there's a little story here going on. There's multiple segments with the Hardys and the Righteous throughout the show. So that's all good. You know what I mean? It's just the fake interview that they have to do where Hannafin just so happens to know the Hardys are going to walk through the door, and Gia Miller just so happens to be standing there on this fake phony wrestling show.
Fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Speaking of Hannafin, he has no idea how to get out of these segments. I'm paraphrasing here because I don't know what he actually said, but he's just like, I don't know, like they go and see they walk in and they see the shrine. He's like, oh, what a creepy. Because I don't know what the fuck he said, and I wish I could like paraphrase something a little bit better to you guys than that. But my point is, there's the shrine. He acknowledges it for like 3 seconds. Oh, it's something like, oh, what a disturbing situation for the Hardys. Anyway, the main event is coming up. Like, he doesn't understand how to transition out of stuff like that. But they also set him up for failure because this company has no clue where to space the episode. They have no idea where to insert commercials. Like, if you have a segment like that, then go to a commercial instead of putting Hannafin in a tough spot where he has to fake acknowledge what he just saw, attempt to put it over in like 2 seconds, and then remind us, oh yeah, we have a wrestling match coming and it's next. You know what I mean? Like, they have to find a better way to transition. So I was rambling there a little bit. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, what I'm getting at. But Hannafin doesn't know how to do it, so stop putting him in that situation. Like, if you have a segment that's supposed to be long lasting and mean something, just cut to a damn commercial, and then you can bring him in and he can start letting you know about the main event instead of him having to fake acknowledge what he just saw. So, do we got anything else? The System cut a promo. Yo, I know I'm body shaming BQ here. How much weight has Eddie Edwards gained since Bound for Glory? I'm disappointed in the company for allowing this to happen, for him to get to that point. Because I was just saying, like a month and a half ago, I was like, yo, he's in the worst shape of his career. Like, I was pointing out he's in the worst shape of his career then. Like, he's worse. It's been like a month. Like, this dude is just growing right in front of our eyes, and this company is not stopping it. Hopefully they can roll him up to the ring for Genesis for his match with JDC. After that promo, because they're promoting JDC and Eddie Edwards, King of the White People, for Genesis. That's going to be the last rodeo. Shout out Mickey James. Then we have the main event of this program.
Oh, and I can't count.
We have one-on-one in his one-on-one debut, his singles match debut. We've got Bear Bronson.
You ever see me fighting in the forest with a grizzly bear? Help the bear!
And his opponent, TNA Jobber World Champion, King of the Block Party.
It's a block party. I'm not playing with y'all, bro.
Frankie Kazarian. I actually thought this was pretty good. Now, Bear Bronson, again, seen him a few times in AEW, was in a jobber tag team. I'm okay with TNA bringing guys like that on who really didn't get a lot of screen time that we don't know a whole lot about and say, hey, let's try to do something with this person. Don't put the belt on him right away or anything like that, but let's see what we can get out of him. So I'm interested to see what they can do with Bear Bronson. If he's just having garbage matches with Mance Warner, I'm going to check out very quickly. But a match like this, this is a big opportunity for him. Like, he's on TV with some shine as a singles wrestler. This is a huge opportunity. And even though he looks kind of like a generic indie dude because of his gear, kind of interested. He can work a little bit. So, and Frankie Kazarian obviously can. So I thought they put on a pretty good match here. I thought it was a needed, cleanish win for Frankie Kazarian. He didn't have to do some bullshit roll up. He took advantage of an injured body part, and he hit that fade to black. I thought they came out really good. I thought it looked good. I thought it was a great finish. This was a pretty solid match. I will watch this 9 times out of 9 times before I watch the Rascals roll around and tickle each other's dick. All right. I actually thought this was pretty solid. So Frankie Kazarian gets the win that he needs because he's going to drop the title here soon and never be world champion again. And as I said, they're not going to go off the air with Frankie Kazarian's hand in victory. That's just not going to happen. They take that opportunity. They played Mike Santana's music. I turned the episode off. I don't care what he had to say. I honestly don't. I'm sure it's just like, hey, Poppy, you and me at Genesis. I think they already announced they're wrestling at Genesis, so I don't even know what it was all about. But I think I know what it was. Maybe that was the Hannafin note, because the title match was supposed to be on AMC, right? Instead, it's going to happen. No, it was supposed to be at Genesis. That's what it was. That was supposed to be the main event for Genesis. Now it's going to be the main event for the AMC debut, meaning they're probably going to get this belt on Frankie a lot quicker, or off Frankie a lot quicker, onto Mike a lot quicker. And then he will move on to wrestle Nick Nemeth at Genesis. There's also a very high probability that it is a 3-way match at Genesis. We'll see. The whole call your shot thing, horribly done. I say horribly done because there was so much potential, but I really think looking back at it, we're going to say they just needed Frankie to fill in some dates for Nick Nemeth, and that's the route they chose to go. 2 winners. We're going to look back at it and say this was really bad. But the call your shot thing never really is that good. They've got a couple good winners out of there that did something good with it, but this definitely goes down as one of the worst stories that come out of it. So we'll see what happens. Mike Santana more than likely is going to be your champion here very, very soon. So he's we didn't even get to enjoy the chase because they phoned in 3 weeks of episodes between him losing the title, or they phoned in a whole month, and then he was on for 2 weeks. They phoned another episode in. He was back for 2 weeks. They phoned in 2 more episodes. You know what I'm saying? Or one, whatever. You understand where I'm going with it. This is not a story that has bubbled at all. And that is a problem with Genesis and Hard to Kill and all that shit every year, is that there's so much filler episodes leading up to it that we're just deprived of any kind of real story. So that's what I got for you guys this week. We will talk again soon. And if you didn't check out the live stream we did on the channel, myself and Mike, it is on both of our channels. So check it out if you haven't already. But that'll do it for me. I'm your boy, BQ, and I'm out. Peace.